Please note that this content is for adults only. Viewer discretion advised. If you haven't yet, hit the subscribe, like, and share. Hello everyone and welcome back to another live stream with me, Grizzly K. This is Grizzly True Crime, and today we're going to be discussing somebody who makes us very snarky, which is Stephan Sterns. Because he was back in the courtroom today. His defense team wanted to delay the hearing that's happening tomorrow, and he lost big time in court today. So not only will we be updating ourselves today on what happened in the courtroom, but hopefully tomorrow we can also watch the hearing together. Please like and share so others can also know that we are live right now. There's a lot going on in true crime. I'm aware of it. So I really appreciate all of you who are here with me and taking time out of your day to listen to what I have to say. Thank you so much. Welcome, mods. Welcome to all my members, patrons, subscribers, and any locals in chat. This case is about Madeline Soto. If you don't know about this case, you can expand the description box. You can read the case background write-up and find the link to the playlist. And there you'll find deep dives that we've done. There's timeline presentations, overviews, all the things. Document deep dives, police video interviews, jail calls, you name it. We've been looking at this case very closely for a long time since Madeline was murdered in February of 2024. I hope that you can hear me. Let me know if you can hear me and see me. Okay, thank you so much for being here. Here we go. Are we ready? So, as you can see from my thumbnail and my title today, we're going to discuss two updates, okay? One is going to be about Stephan Sterns. We're going to watch him and his now shaven head in the courtroom. And then I will also be updating you on what happened with Madeline Soto's quiet teacher. Now, in the description box, you'll find a disclaimer, and I'm going to say it verbally here as well. Number one, this content is for educational purposes only. Number two, Italo Brett has nothing to do with Madeline Soto's case. I've just been following that one very closely because that is someone that was in Madeline Soto's orbit, and he's turned out to be such a predator himself. He's pleaded guilty to his crimes. So that's what I want to update you on, that he pleaded guilty and the time that he's facing, that he's confessed to what he did and all of that. All right. So that's what we're going to do. Someone says, I can hear you and see you, G. That's always a positive, isn't it? MB Inc., thank you for being here. You said power ballad intro, right? It just gets us all excited for what's coming up, just to get our snark tanks ready. So first, let me update you with this. Check this out. This is something that was published. When was this date? This was on the 14th of April of 2025. Today's date is the 22nd. And what happened was, this is interesting what the defense said. They said the motion to continue the suppression hearing. Now, this motion is what was discussed in court today. And so they said, comes now the defendant, Stephan Michael Sterns, by and through the undersigned attorney, pursuant to Florida Rule of Criminal Procedure 3.190F, and moves this court to enter its order granting a continuance of the above styled cause as grounds in support of this motion. The defense would show, number one, the defense's motions to suppress hearings are scheduled to be heard on the 23rd. Guess what? That's tomorrow. Tomorrow, there will be hearings for the motions to suppress. What are the motions to suppress? Stephan Sterns wants the phone evidence thrown out. Basically, they think that his phone was taken unlawfully, all of that. We've gone over all those documents from the defense and from the state and all of that at length if you want to find it on the playlist. But that's basically what they're going to be arguing tomorrow. It's a 3-hour hearing and we're going to watch it together. So you better have your notifications on for that. I will teleport you to tomorrow's stream right after this one, okay? If you don't get teleported or you can't stick around for this whole stream, just go to my channel, homepage, click notify me when you see it, okay? So the pretrial conference is to be heard at the same time as the scheduled motions to suppress. Oh, we're getting ready for the first trial. Stephan Sterns has 2 trials scheduled for this year. One is coming up now in May and one is in September. There's a CSAM trial and there's a homicide trial, okay? So I've written all those dates in pencil, so I'll just be careful with that. Let's hear what happens tomorrow if those dates actually stay. Now, they said the defendant has been charged with 60 counts of various allegations involving sexual battery, lewd and lascivious molestation, and possession of CSAM, child SA material. A conviction on any of the above counts may also serve as an aggravator in the defendant's other open case. I keep saying that, and some people keep correcting me, but they literally say it in the documents. I'm not a lawyer. I'm just reading the documents. They say if found guilty of the CSAM charges, that will serve as an aggravating factor for the next trial, of course, for the death penalty, right? Now, they said a conviction will serve as an aggravator in the defendant's other open case where the state is seeking the death penalty, as evidenced by the state's notice of intent to seek the death penalty filed in that case. The apparent centerpiece of this prosecution stems from media obtained through a search of a phone attributed to the defendant. On February 6th of 2025, the defense filed 3 suppression motions challenging this exact evidence. Now this, they say, since filing that motion, the defense has come into possession of confidential, secret, confidential information that may impact the presentation of evidence at that hearing. Now, what does that mean? I don't know what it means. Do they have a confession? Did he say something in the jail calls? Did Jen Soto say something? Do they have evidence of somebody else using that phone to make the content? I don't know. I don't even know what to think. I can't actually even speculate because we don't know. And you know what? The judge asked today, and we're going to watch that together. Hey, what's happening? And they're like, no, we can't say. He's like, so it's confidential. It's a secret. Yeah, they can't. They can't say it because they don't know if it's going to pan out. But that, since filing the motion, the defense has come into possession of confidential information. Oh, that may impact the presentation of evidence at that hearing. Oh, really? Well, let's hope we see the hearing tomorrow and that we see what the heck that could pan out to be. The defense will not have time to develop this evidence before the currently scheduled motions to suppress, scheduled for hearing on April 23rd. Well, will they hurry up and be able to be ready for tomorrow? Because we want to know. Right? So they said, as such, the defense is requesting to continue these hearings to be reset for a later date, that this motion is filed in good faith and not for the purpose of delay. The state objects to this motion to continue. So obviously the state objected to that. Now, let us bring up the hearing, which is this one right here. Let me make sure I boost it for you. And here, actually, you know what I want to show you? If we look at this clip here from Fox News, they said the judge denies Stephan Sterns' motion. Listen, Fox, why are you giving us spoilers now? But I just want to show you this clip here because you can actually see Stephan Sterns walk into the courtroom and he like does this like little side eye. Oh my word, this guy, he could just make me so angry. Walker, oh my word. Thank you so much. You said, gee, your channel is my favorite. Thank you for all you do. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. That is so sweet. Okay, so check this out quickly. Let me just move myself over so that I'm not in the way here. Okay, look how he walks in.
Michael Sterns, 2024 CF.
No. Go back. Here he comes. Look at him. Oh my word. Freaking Sterns. Okay, so then he walks up to there and sits down. On YouTube, they didn't show that initial walk-in. So yeah, he's shaved his head. He has been buying dandruff shampoo, so I don't know if he's just sick of doing that now and just decided, I'm just going to shave my head and deal with it that way. I'm not sure. How do we know this? Because we get the jail records. He's still trying to get his root beer barrels and his candies and all these things. His parents are still in contact with him, still sending him money, still sending him packages. All of that. Actually, the root beer barrels turned out to be an unauthorized item, which we recently learned meant they're out of stock. Oh, I'm like, I thought you were just denying them to be snarky. That would be fun. But anyway, his parents are sending him lots of things still. Asnath, thank you for being a member for 1 year. That's amazing. So yeah, he got a haircut, everyone, and he's got chains around his ankles. And yeah, here he is in the courtroom. Thankfully. I'm glad he's in the courtroom so we can snark at him because this coward was hiding from the courtroom for many, many months. He only recently started appearing in the courtroom. Good. You better show up. This hearing is all of 12 minutes long, so listen carefully because I want to pick your brain. I want to know what you guys think about what the heck is going on here. What are they saying? Read between the lines of what the defense is saying. What do they have? Okay.
We're on the record, State of Florida versus Stephen Michael Sterns, 2024 CF 632. Appearances for the record, please.
Danielle Pinnell and William J. for the state.
Alicia Smith and Alex Johnson on behalf of Mrs. Stephan Sterns.
Thank you. All right, the court has set this hearing on the defense's motion to continue the suppression hearing, which is currently set for tomorrow afternoon at 2 p.m. Defense, do you wish to present argument with respect to your motion?
Yes, Judge, and defense has case law provided a copy to the state already. You want me to give you a moment to read, Judge, or you want me to stand?
Okay, hold up. Somebody says I'm confused. Luna says I'm confused. Which hearing is this? This is a hearing to decide if tomorrow's hearing would be postponed or not. Spoiler alert, the judge denied the motion to delay anything. So the hearing is continuing tomorrow. Tomorrow's hearing is a motion to suppress evidence, phone evidence. If the defense can successfully toss out the phone evidence, there's no CSAM trial to be had. So it's a very big deal. But Stephan Sterns gave so much consent. So many times did he give consent to law enforcement to go through his phone. I don't think he has a leg to stand on. We recently read through some of the state's filings and we're like, yeah, no, he's not going to get anywhere with that. But let's see. Tomorrow is to decide if the phone evidence remains in or not. So today's hearing was, is the hearing going to go forward tomorrow or not? That's why it's so short. And yes, it will go forward tomorrow and we will watch it together. If there are cameras, of course, which there should be. Ew, cameraman. Ew. Cameraman, no. Back it up. We can smell him from here.
Do these highlight the McKay factors?
Essentially, Judge, they all essentially stand for the same problem.
Go with the McKay factors. Thank you.
And the cases that I provided to the court are Botham v. State, 272 Southern 3rd 876, a 50 CA case from 2019, Turner v. State, 311 Southern 3rd 185, a second DCA case from 2020, McKay versus State, first DCA, 504 Southern 2nd 1280 from 1986, and unpublished opinion that only has a Westlaw site so far, Surratt versus State, 2025 Westlaw 1119091 from last week from April of 2025. Trocola versus State, 867 Southern 2nd 129, 50 CA from 2004. And Singer versus State, 286 Southern 3rd 343, a 50 CA from 2019. Essentially, Judge, defense is moving to continue the motion to suppress the set for the afternoon, tomorrow afternoon. And looking at the Bofo case, it essentially says that in moving for a continuance, defense just has to show that we haven't had a reasonable time to investigate or litigate the case, and that is balanced against the judicial economy and judicial efficiency in the court managing their documents, turning to the McKay factors, as well as the factors that are listed in, I believe, Turner, that looks to a defense suffering an injustice by failing to grant the continuance, as well as if the delay was attributable to the defense or if it was unforeseen. Defense would argue that the intention is not to delay the court, isn't to be derelict in our duties. Defense is moving for this continuance based off of, as the court is aware, there is the second case, and preparing for the motion as well as in preparing the other case for trial. Defense is coming to information that at this time the defense is in a position to be able to divulge to the court or in open court.
So your good cause is secret?
Essentially, Judge. Well,
The judge. So your good cause is secret? So you're coming here to say that you've come across confidential information and therefore you want to work on that and you want to delay the motion to suppress evidence hearing that's taking place tomorrow, but you can't tell us what it is. You see, now we really want to know what it is, right? Annette E said he's such a joke, it's hard to look at him. If you guys, I know you guys like my snark. I know that this case, Stephan Sterns really gets it going. Jumpsuit Pablo, which I'm sure many of you know, he's also got some epic snark. I've been listening to some of his reactions to Stephan Sterns' jail calls. So if you're missing out on my snark and you've already watched all my replays and you're looking for more, yeah, I will go there. Because he definitely snarks about Stephan Sterns. His channel name is Jumpsuit Pablo. Okay, so Stay Wild Mustang said, Mr. G, thanks for everything you do and all your hard work. You're the best. Thank you so much. So you heard it there. I hope you guys do you want the CC on the screen? I'm putting it here in case you want to see it. It's also active on my channel though. But yeah, the judge is like, so something is going to delay it, but you can't tell us what it is. That's basically what she's saying here.
I can't in good faith at this time, being that it's still being explored. I don't know which way it's going to go, if it's going to be something that's going to pan out in favor of defense or be able to be something to be utilized in this case. As the court is aware, a death notice has been filed in the second case, and while I'm not arguing specifically as to that case, in that death notice, this case is used as one of the aggravating factors. So a conviction on this case would be one of the aggravating factors the state would potentially be seeking in that in the death notice in terms of the homicide case. Defense would argue that this information has come to light recently, and we're still in the process of working through it and figuring out if it's something that would or wouldn't be available in this.
What? So you have confidential information. You want to delay the motion to suppress hearing, which is their motion. It's the defense's motion in the first place. You want to pump the brakes on that because you have come across some information that could change the presentation of evidence at this motion to suppress hearing. You can't tell us what it is, and you just want time to maybe work on it because it could pan out. Listen, man. What is it? Don't they make you so curious? Eddie, don't worry. Thank you so much. Thank you all for the sticker. That is so sweet. Thank you, Eddie. Yeah, Janet's like, let's just talk in circles, lady. I mean, I think this attorney does a excellent job. I think she's got her hands full with this one, but yeah, I don't know. If I were the judge here too, I'd be like, it's sounding a little vague for me. So yeah, the hearing will continue tomorrow. And please do bring that confidential information with you. We'd love to hear what it is.
This case, if the defense were to go forward with the motion to suppress at this point, potentially would be relitigated depending on the court's ruling on that. In terms of just regular pretrial in the case, we would be moving to continue the regular pretrial even aside from the motion to suppress hearing because we did an evidence viewing. We were able to complete the evidence viewing, and the second part of that evidence viewing is scheduled for June 11th with the state in this case. So defense essentially is moving to continue balancing the Bolton factors as well as the McKay factors. Defense believes that this isn't a unreasonable request on the court in filing a motion and getting this set for a hearing and still doing their due diligence in terms of preparing the case otherwise for trial and for the motion to suppress in and of itself.
All right. So the McKay factors, so we're on the same page.
Okay, let's just pause it there quickly. So Stephan Sterns' trial is set for May 5th. That's around the corner. We got to be ready for that. I hope it happens then. I don't know if it'll be streamed or not given the nature of the content. That's the CSAM trial, child sexual abuse material. That's what CSAM stands for, which is a more appropriate word than CPORN, of course, and we've had that discussion at length. And so that's why they're changing it in lots of the legal filings these days as well. And so I'm sure eventually it'll all change. But the point is, May 5th, we're ready for it. We're definitely going to be watching that together if they are streaming it. So just make sure that if you want to see that with me, if there are going to be cameras in the courtroom, if they are going to be showing that, we'll watch it. I don't know if YouTube will like it, but we're going to watch it together as much as we can. So let's hear what the judge says here.
Deal with a request to continue the trial. The other factors that you mentioned deal with a request to continue either a trial or a substantive hearing for absence of a critical witness.
Excuse me, absence of a critical witness. Now, who are they talking about? Where's Jen Soto? That's all I think about when they're like, ooh, the absence of a critical witness. Jen Soto? Or who? Or who are we talking about? Tomizawa says, in the words of Skylar Nisa's father, rot in hell. Thank you so much for your sticker. Tomorrow says, Jumpsuit Pablo definitely has snark. Yeah, he definitely has snark. So, yeah, and Chloe said, being a public defender must be extremely tough, especially in a case like this. Oh, my word. And you said, I give her props. Me too.
State response?
Yes, Your Honor. The state has not been in receipt of any witness list or any defense discovery in this case. The defendant in this case was arrested on February 29th of 2024. The public defender's office was appointed the next day at initial appearances. The discovery process started after the information was filed on March 11th of 2024. The state responded to the defense's demand for discovery on March 20th, 2024, and discovery has been ongoing. The motions to suppress that are currently set for hearing tomorrow were filed by the defense on February 6th of 2025. There was a motion to close the courtroom on February 28th of 2025. A notice of hearing for the closure.
We watched that together. Remember the motion for basically Stephan Sterns wanted privacy. He didn't like the cameras in the courtroom, and we were all getting furious at that. Like, what right does he have after violating a child, the way that he did with cameras and others taking pictures and videos of roommates and things like that. Of course, he's innocent until proven guilty. This hearing, by the way, is all about the CSAM trial. There's 2 trials this year. The first one is scheduled for May 5th. And tomorrow is the motions to suppress and a pre-trial hearing for that. They're preparing for the trial. Oh my word. So we're actually getting there. The next trial is set currently for September 22nd of 2025. Scylla said, you look great in purple today. Thank you so much. I am wearing it in honor of Madeline Soto. Her favorite colors were green and lavender. So I like to try my very best. Not that my wardrobe always has all the colors, but I try my best. So I'm wearing that for Maddie today. Okay, so let's go like
Of the courtroom was filed February 24th of 2025. Upon the denial of the defense's motion to close the courtroom on March 27th of 2025, the defense filed a notice of hearing for these motions to suppress. So these have been pending hearings since March 27th of 2025. The defense filed the motions to continue. The defense waited approximately almost 2 months, a little 2.5 months to request hearing time. The hearing has been set. The state filed responses to the defendant's motions to suppress on April 8th of 2025. And then I was contacted by defense. We had a discussion about their request to continue these hearings on April 10th, and a written motion to continue was filed on April 14th of 2025. The written motion filed by defense, the state's position is vague. It is unclear whether this information is necessary for a defense, is necessary for the hearing. The motion simply states that it may affect the presentation of evidence. The state has subpoenaed witnesses. We have a significant amount of hearing time scheduled for tomorrow afternoon. The state's prepared to proceed on the
significant. It's 3 hours. If they say significant, we're talking 20 hours or what? 3 hours. Well, we're here for it. We'll be watching that together.
Motions, and is objecting to the motion to continue the suppression hearings.
Thank you. Any additional argument from the defense?
Yes, Judge. Defense would say that this is necessary for the defense, even if the court were to ask ex parte in terms of to have ex parte hearing in terms of the basis for the motion. I don't believe at this point defense will be able to disclose that information even to the court, even if an ex parte hearing were requested and or granted. It's defense's position that this information is necessary to be explored in terms of the presentation of the evidence or presentation of the case, because it's defense's position that at this time the information is confidential, which is why a witness list hasn't been disclosed, discovery exhibits haven't been disclosed in regards to it, because it's still being looked to and explored. As the state indicated, discovery is ongoing, and as discovery has continued to be ongoing, so has defense's preparation of the case, reviewing of the motions, filing of the motions, preparation of the motion, as well as in preparing this case otherwise for trial alongside the homicide case. So it's defense's position that the granting of the continuance in this case would not be an undue burden on the court. I understand the state having subpoenaed witnesses. The day that I found out about the information was the same day we actually happened to have depositions, so I spoke with the state in person about it, and then sent her an email in regards to her position, and then from there filed the motion to continue, and then we got hearing times while I was in trial with Your Honor as another case, and I filed a notice of hearing as to that. Defense has been preparing, defense is preparing, and it's defense's position that denial of the motion to continue in this case would be an abuse of discretion, and we'd be asking the court to grant the request to continue.
How about no? Vicky says, are we watching live tomorrow at Grizzly? Yes. Yes, we're watching live tomorrow. You're going to be teleported to the stream for tomorrow. They say it starts at 2 p.m. Eastern. So we'll be watching live tomorrow for this pretrial hearing for the motions to suppress. And let's see. Obviously, it depends on if there's cameras in the courtroom. But I'm assuming, based on all these hearings with cameras in the courtroom and the judge saying, no, denied, there will be cameras in the courtroom. Remember the previous hearings? that with the motions where Stephan Sterns wanted no cameras in the courtroom, the judge denied those motions. So I'm thinking tomorrow they'll have cameras in the courtroom just like they did today, and we'll watch it tomorrow. Of course, that's what I say. If there are cameras, we're watching it together, definitely. So you better be here. Nana Junkin said, hand over discovery defense, right? What's taking so long with that? Why the secrecy? SS is so gross, and the side eye made me so snarky. Thanks for being a member for 28 months. Okay, let's see the judge's response now.
Thanks. Well, the court's in a difficult position evaluating the McKay factors. In this case, the court's going to find that there's been significant time to prepare for these hearings. This case initiated in February of 2024. Motion was filed almost a year later. The matter was set for a hearing in March, 13 months. I'll note that this is on 24 CF 632. While the two cases are related, this does not deal with the homicide case. The court has an inability to make a determination as to the likelihood of prejudice from the denial. The defense apparently is in possession of some information, the nature of that information, the timing of when it was received, whether the defendant played any role in shortening the preparation time. The availability of that discovery is unknown to the court because the defense is unwilling at this point to share any information with the court, even on an ex parte basis, as to this information. Counsel that has been appointed to this case has the requisite skill and experience to try this type of case. Both are either board certified criminal trial experts or in the process of becoming are being certified as a criminal trial expert. The court cannot, from the information presented, make a finding of good cause, and while the defense argues it will be prejudicial, there's been nothing advanced to the court to support that argument. So the defense's motion to continue the motion to suppress tomorrow, scheduled for 2 p.m., is denied.
Denied. So Eric Lieber says continued in the context of the court proceedings means postponed, not continued in the conventional meaning. I know that. Did I say something that didn't mean that? Yeah, they're trying to postpone the hearings, to delay them. That motion now has been denied. So guess what? The hearing continues tomorrow. Okay. That's what the judge has just decided.
And I'll ask the state to please have their witnesses present and ready to go.
No problem.
Thank you. Matter set for 3 hours tomorrow at 2 p.m. That will conclude our hearing.
Set for 3 hours tomorrow at 2 p.m. Now here goes Stephan Sterns with his new little haircutty. Oh my word, just looking at him, doesn't it just make you angry? Just based on what the charges he's facing. Oh my goodness, 60 counts of CSAM related charges, right? Having that on his Google Cloud accounts and all of that, that's just horrific. 4 to 5 years of abuse of a little girl, allegedly. And then he's also accused of murdering Madeline Soto. Like, what? Annette E. said, I must say, orange is his color. Right? Orange is his color. Oh my. So let's see him get up here. Okay, and that was the hearing. So let's go back to some of these documents now, and then I'll update you on some of those as well. So one more time here. Let's just resize it so that it looks nice for us, of course. And then I'll tell you about the choir teacher as well. Somebody said earlier, Tanya Pagan said they arrested another music teacher from Hunters Creek Middle School this week. If you have a link for that, please send it to me, because the only news I've seen is that the choir teacher pleaded guilty. Yeah, he pleaded guilty. Thank goodness. He's not going to put those families through their trial. I think that's the right thing to do. Janet said DFLAF tomorrow. I don't know. We might just be there for it. I don't know if they'll take breaks or not. 3 hours, I think we could do it, right? Kimberly Japan says, I can't think of anyone whose back view only makes me this much disgusted, right? So this again, the defense came into possession of confidential information that may impact the presentation of evidence at that hearing. They also said the absence of a critical witness. So It's all very vague at this point. We don't know exactly what they wanted the delay for, but yeah, the judges denied the motion to continue or postpone the hearing for tomorrow. It's happening. So notice of hearing, this was for today. This was the 22nd at 11:15 a.m. in courtroom 4F, and that was the motion to continue the defense's motion to suppress. That's what the judge has now denied. Now, this is a brand new, we're going to get to the quiet teacher in a moment, okay? We're almost there with what we want to cover today. This is a brand new FDLE report that Grizzly Cat sent me today. Thank you so much, Grizzly Cat, for obtaining this for us from the District Attorney's Office. The last one we looked at was quite interesting because it linked DNA evidence from Stephan Sterns to Madeline Soto. His DNA was found on her chest area. So that's pretty huge for the trials, especially the murder case, you know? So this one is not that interesting, I'll admit. It's not that interesting, but I wanted to show it to you. FDLE, Florida Department of Law Enforcement. Obviously, every little bit of evidence is interesting in totality of it, but this one didn't offer us too much new information. They said Stephan M. Sterns offenses, death investigation, sexual assault, Osceola County, February 25th of 2024. Reference. This report references evidence submitted to the Florida Department of Law Enforcement on April 24th of 2024 by Rita Taveras. This report contains conclusions, opinions, and or interpretations made by the author. Why do we have this now? Well, as time goes on with the Sunshine State laws, from my understanding, as the more time goes on, then more things can get released. So that's why we get to see or hear some of the jail calls, for example, where that was sealed before. You needed a subpoena to get those, and now, you know, the District Attorney's Office releases more and more evidence as time goes on. So really, the sooner Stephan Sterns goes to trial, is that not the better for him? Because otherwise, yeah, everybody's getting their hands on all this information, right? Okay, so this said evidence, FDLE agency description. Item 16, 17, 18, 19 is a white flat sheet from the closet in bedroom number 4. Bedroom number 4 is the room upstairs, the one that Jen Soto sent her 13-year-old daughter upstairs to sleep with her ex-boyfriend in a bed up there. Because, you know, Jen Soto needed a king bed to herself so she could get a good night's rest for her 2 days off. Okay, so anyway, so I still can't get over that, like, wow. Anyway, so they took this white flat sheet from the closet in bedroom 4, a white flat sheet from bed in bedroom 4, white pillowcase from bed in bedroom 4, and a white fitted sheet from the bed in bedroom 4. The results for items 17, 18, and 19, they just state the same. And it said possible hairs were observed on items 17, 18, and 19, but were not removed or examined. Using a color change test, items 17, 18, and 19 failed to give chemical indications for the presence of semen. FDLE number, STR DNA analysis was not performed on items 17, 18, and 19. Remarks, item 16 was not examined. Please contact CLAS Ashley Garner for a case consultation if additional evidence submissions are needed. The submitted evidence is available for retrieval or return at the earliest opportunity. Abbreviations that may appear in this report are CODIS, Combined DNA Index System, all of these, DNA, FSI, all of that, right? So they didn't actually, there's no results we could really report on from this, right? But I just wanted to show it to you because it is one of the latest documents that the District Attorney's Office has now released. Now, Italo Brett. Do you remember Italo Brett? Do you remember that case? Let me quickly show you this so that you can see. Hold on one second. This guy. Wait. Ooh, that's a big picture now. Okay, wait. Resize that. We don't want him to be that big here. Ew, okay. This one. Do you remember this case? If you don't, I have linked part 1 and 2 about this guy. This was Madeline Soto's choir teacher. And so Jen Soto also texted him the day that she went to pick up Maddie from school and she couldn't find her. She texted this guy, okay? So he's part of Madeline Soto's orbit, which is why I'm following his case as well, because I'm like, damn, there's already been 2 teachers arrested from Hunters Creek Middle School for CSAM related charges. This would be the second one. Okay, and he was arrested this year. So what I did was we did a deep dive on his case, and then we also got the PCA and we went over that. Now the documents that I received today, and actually someone emailed it to me yesterday. Thank you so much to the Grizzly who sent it to me yesterday. these documents about him pleading guilty, I'm so glad that he did plead guilty, but oh my word, there's even more details and it's absolutely horrifying. So I'm thinking of making a separate video for you where I can just read through the document. You know, otherwise it's going to get a bit long now. And it's just, we gotta buckle up and prepare for it. But this guy, basically, Italo Brett, I'm actually going to read you this article. I've got it on my phone here because my phone's got the VPN on. So it says, Orange County, Florida, a former teacher at Hunters Creek Middle School has pleaded guilty to having inappropriate and sexual conversations with children online. So he's not involved with abusing Madeline Soto or Madeline Soto's case. It's just that he was interviewed by the police. We've listened to his police audio interview before about his observations of Madeline Soto and his conversations with Jen Soto. So that's interesting as well, right? And so a former teacher at Hunters Creek Middle School has pleaded guilty, as I said. Court filings show that Italo Brett Bonini has agreed to plead guilty to federal charges of enticement of a minor and production of CSAM. The plea agreement states that he faces a minimum of 10 years in prison for the enticement charge and 15 for the CSAM charge. 25 years. Bonini may also have to pay restitution to the victims. So I think he's only like 24 years old from what I recall. That's what they have there. So Kathy said, why let him plead out, charge him and go for the death penalty? I think it's good to spare the families from all of this, don't you think? Like, imagine going through all of that and the jury seeing all of that. Wow. Yeah, Barbara said that you are aware. Yes, that I'm aware. Because when I initially started covering his case, there were so many like rude comments saying, why are you covering this? Like, what does this have to do with Madeline Soto? This has to do with other child victims. And this guy just happened to be Madeline Soto's choir teacher. There's actually a picture on his Facebook page with Madeline Soto in the picture as part of the choir group. So, yeah, he pleaded guilty. And so the document, as I say, it's a little bit lengthy. But my goodness, the things that he would do, he would connect with children on Discord. He would offer them like Roblox money. It's like an online game. He used another email address, a different name, Adrian B or something like that. And he would literally, trigger warning, okay, for CSAM, sexual assault, sexual abuse, online enticement, all those types of themes. He would like show them that he's gonna pee on the floor. He would demonstrate that he's going to defecate on the floor. Like, this guy is sick, okay? So yeah, 25 years and then monitor that guy because he has multiple child victims as well. And I say now he's pleaded guilty, so he's going to be sentenced and he faces up to 25 years in prison. So can you believe that? Let me actually see if I just have a summary here for you. Where is it? Where did I put it? Yeah, the latest update on Italo Brett Bonini, also referred to as Italo Brett, involves his arrest on February 4th, just to recap quickly, of 2025 for allegedly enticing minors online. Now he's convicted because obviously, well, you know, he pleaded guilty. He's a 25-year-old former chorus instructor at Hunters Creek Middle School in Orlando, Florida, where Madeline Soto was a student and one of his students. And he was charged with one count of enticing a minor using a facility of interstate commerce. Investigators identified him after discovering disturbing messages on a Discord account where he reportedly communicated with a young boy, admitted to asking the child to perform sex acts over the video chat. During an interview, Brett confessed to deleting his Discord account because he was disgusted with himself and stated that he communicated with children because they were easier to talk to and that he liked the control aspect. He also said that he just fell into temptation. Oh my word. Okay, he was arrested at his home on Santa Clara Drive in Orlando and is no longer employed at the school. Yeah, what do we think? With an ongoing investigation by the Orange County School District's Office of Professional Standards. So that's where we were. So again, if you missed the deep dives on this guy's case, there are two videos for you. One was a deep dive on the timeline and everything. The next one was what the FBI's report said. This is a federal case. And now I think I need to make you a third video detailing some of the new things that they put in these latest documents. So yeah, we have that here. As you could see, look, it's very long and it goes into detail of exactly what he tried to do to these kids and make them do, especially when they had siblings, and telling them to go to a more private area and all sorts of things. And, you know, I like to talk about this to raise awareness about these topics, of course, being very mindful to never feed They're pedos. Never feed them. You know what I mean? Like, you got to be careful how you talk about these things, because you never know who's tuning in and getting their fix. So yeah, plea agreement, as you can see, particularized terms, counts pleading to. The defendant shall enter a plea of guilty to counts 1 and 2 of the indictment. Count 1 charges the defendant with enticement of a minor to engage in sexual activity in violation of that code, and count 2 charges the defendant with production of CSAM in violation of that code. Count 1 is punishable by a mandatory minimum term of imprisonment of 10 years, up to life, a fine of $250,000, a term of supervised release of at least 5 years, up to life. So they do say up to life, and a special assessment of $100 per felony count for individuals, and all of that. And count 2 is punishable by a mandatory minimum term of imprisonment of 15 years, up to 30 years. So he could face life in prison, right? So I will let you know. As I said, I will be following that case as well. And it's been a difficult one to follow because it's a federal case. So they don't release, like, the usual, the body cam or like police interviews or things. So yeah, but I'm very glad that they caught him as well, right? My goodness. So thank you so much, everyone, for watching with me today. Sorry, I'm telling you, I've got like a cat hair on my nose. So the whole time I'm just doing this. As you know, we've got 3 cats. Okay, lots of cat hairs everywhere. So thank you so much for being here today. I really appreciate it. And I will now be saying goodbye, sharing the link in the chat, okay, for tomorrow's live stream, which will be the hearing, very important hearing for Stephan Sterns, the motion to suppress hearing, the pretrial hearing. His trial is set for the first trial, CSAM charges, May 5th. Okay, so we've got to get ready for that. Rian said, I recognize all those attorneys from the Anthony Todd case, the douchebag who did away with his wife and kids. Oh, yes, true. Thank you so much for being a member for 11 months. I'll share the link in the chat, and you'll be teleported to it if you just wait for the outro. All right, everyone. Thank you, Mars. Thank you, everyone. See you tomorrow.